Oh, this is what the Lord said. Stop borrowing money. The economy will sink. Use the natural resources that we have for money. Partner with states who have mineral resources. It will help. Take the mineral resources to China, to places where they need it. Turn it to money. By the time you borrow that money, Nigeria will sink. The economy will scatter.
To listen to me. I want women to listen to me. What God is telling me that is coming, I am seeing exchange of bullets in Southeast December month. And this exchange of bullets will gun down so many men. This exchange of bullets will gun down so many men, and so many men will die, and it will gun down so many soldiers, such as security people. When I say security people, mix, then at the end of this exchange of bullets, things will get normal. But many families is going to be affected of losing a son, a husband, a brother. Imo State, Anambra State, Enugu State. Ebonyi State is not other affected. Abia State, little it will affect them. But Imo is the war zone, Ember Month. And I want this message. It is not a good one. But at the end, many people will go down. Many. I saw their corpse. Many will go down. Civilians is going to be affected, but the Biafrans will be affected much. And a kind of quietness in Southeast. It's coming. December month. So, amend your travel. And if you're traveling, you know the area you are traveling to. If a hidden place, save your life for now. Because there will be exchange of, let me tell you, many Biafran soldiers will go down. They will go down. This is what I saw. Thank you. Celebrate life.
So guys, I believe we heard what the servant of the Most High has to say concerning Biafra, Igbo, whatever you people want to call it. See, one thing I'm getting tired of these people called Biafra. You guys see, if you want to actually fight for a particular cause, if you want to actually agitate for a particular nation, and if you really want it to come, honestly, violence will not take anything. You get, the Bible has already said that several times without number, and I believe a lot of us are not naive out there with what the Igbos are doing currently. I think that was on the 15th of um 15th of August, if I'm not mistaken. Something happened and these people had one-on-one altercation with the Nigerian forces, which is the military, and it was a whole lot. And the Igbo people came out. I think is it General Yahudi something something. He came out to say some things, and those things were not actually pleasant to the ear. I understand that you're seeking for a nation. I understand that you are agitating for your freedom. And one thing I've always been saying in my video is that if the Nigerian government feel like this set of individuals are not good and they are not contributing anything to the growth of Nigeria, then they should let them go. Give them Biafra. They have been fighting for those things for as long as I could remember, even way before my parents were born. Until today, they are still fighting for this thing, and it's actually leading to another thing. But the way the Biafrans are actually going about this thing right now, it is uncalled for and it is uncultured, honestly. What happened during the Nigerian Civil War? If you have not watched those videos, or one or two of those videos have not popped up on your screen, or you have not gone to read some documentary, I think I was in SS1 when I come across that particular video, and when I was taught about it in school, then I came home to actually ask questions. I think that was my grandfather that I asked that time. That was back in 2011, I think 2010 to 2011, and I was like, what happened? Why? And then he started narrating and why the Igbo actually surrender to the Nigerian authority, that they were no longer fighting. And then Ojoko went on Eza, which he came back that he's a prodigal son, that he's a Nigerian that has actually gone wayward. They should forgive him, which they did. They accepted him into the society, and not just that, he was able to even contest for the presidential election with Obasanjo. If you all remember, I was small, but I actually take history very, very, very serious. And with what I gather, his people didn't actually vote for him because they were disappointed that you were the one that said that we're going to fight to the last man standing. And then you went on Eza, then you came back, and then the next thing you want to become the president of the so-called country that you actually fought against, that you say that they are not good enough for the Igbo people, and now you're doing this. And that was what happened. But the way they are actually going about this agitation is what I do not like. The last time, I think the Finland authority released a statement from someone Ekpa, and he says that he was a content creator, and I'm like, our mom know too much for this country, and that is what people are dying for. This is a cause that people are willing to give their life for. I remember General Gentle Diawu. There's something that was unspeakable. That was last month in August. He said something. He did something. He unalived 3 boys on camera, and they had the audacity to actually post this video. And I'm like, this is the cause that you want every young Igbo man out there to actually agitate for. Martin Andikalu is still locked up. He's still in Nigeria custody as we speak, and nothing is being done about it. And then new people are coming up with new agenda, to the point that they even say that they are going to actually banter the government house in Anambra. And if some group of boys, they need boys like 50, and they are going to pay each of them 50,000 naira. Do you know how much 50,000 naira is? I don't think it's up to $30 or 30 something dollars or so. And these people may actually go and never return, and they are willing to go. One thing I want the Igbos to understand is that Biafra is a spirit, not just a movement. It's something that is being sold into your DNA. So far you carry that Igbo blood, so far it's flowing through you. See, when they say Biafra, you're going to do it. I've actually interacted with a lot of Igbos, and I've come across a lot of Igbos. Some of them actually are not that naive. With those that had the, let me say, exposure, let me put it that way. I won't say that education is actually achievement, let me put it that way, so that some people say that doesn't mean that people that do not go to school wouldn't achieve anything or do not have any exposure. But I feel like the more you interact with people, and the more you go out of this country or out of your state, you'll be able to see a lot of things, and you'll be asking yourself that, how I think they do this thing, why am I so blind to this particular course? Because what you guys are doing, honestly, is no longer agitation. Yes, I understand that you wanted to set an example by teaching those boys a lesson. There are lots of ways you could actually teach them a lesson, but unaliving them. That is why when I share prophecies on this platform concerning Biafra, you see a lot of men of God saying that Biafra is not united. This particular movement, this particular cause called Biafra is actually going to come, but this is how it's going to come, and the Igbo should sit up. They should love one another. I remember I shared a video of Evangelist Ebuka. That was last year. He said something concerning his land, his community, his village no longer safe, and how some elderly people were unalive. I think some video were making rounds on social media. That was early last month. See, these women, they were in their late 80s. Let me put it that way, because I cannot actually tell their age by looking at them, but I could say that they have actually surpassed that 80, you get, because you know people in the village they live on herbs and they intend to look way younger than their age. So let me just put them in that category of 80 or 80 plus. And they were running for their life, and I'm like, is this actually nice? These are old people that have actually experienced the civil war, probably maybe they were kids back then, or they were in their early 20 or 15, their teenagers years, and then they're still going to experience another civil war in this country with the way Igbos are pushing. See, I'm not saying that Biafra shouldn't come, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't agitate for Biafra, but with a lot of prophecies that I have shared on this platform, and with what I've heard from this men of God, and with what I'm seeing on social media circulating each day, I feel like the Igbo should do better, honestly, because if you don't do better, it's actually going to destroy you to the roots. And when something is being destroyed to the root, believe me, it's not going to outgrow. Like anyhow you try, they come back to life again. So please talk reason with the Nigerian government. If they feel like your course worth it, I'm sure they will actually give it to you. But if Mr. A is actually speaking for this and Mr. B is actually speaking for this, how do you think that particular thing is actually going to come to pass or come to existence? Because it will look like you guys are confused human beings. And to this point, no disrespect, but with all honesty, I would say that the Igbo race, they are one of the most confused ethnic group in Nigeria. You will see an Igbo man using a Nigerian passport, Nigeria international passport, using Nigeria national identity card. When you ask them, where are you from? Maybe probably by your accent outside Nigeria or outside their state, and you ask, where are you from? Which part of Nigeria? They'll say, I'm not a Nigerian, I'm a Biafra. And I'm like, okay, show me the Biafran ID card or international passport where you could use free jackpot from this country. They're still going to boil down to Nigerian details. So for now, I'll say that you guys are more exposed because this is 24th century, for crying out loud. You cannot be that naive or be that brainwashed to a particular cause that you don't know your left from your right. Anything they just feed you, you just digest it. It's going to purge you when the time comes, honestly. And it has been doing that for the past couple of years because some young boys have turned to something else. You get, when a child is growing up and then you intend to hand them over weapons to destroy some set of individuals, they're going to use those things to start committing crime. That is why the East is no longer safe. There's a coffin. Do you know how much that particular the Eastern state lose on a day on Monday basis every week? Like Monday supposed to be the first day of work because Sunday is the first day of the week. Monday is the second day, but it is the first day that people intend to go to work, school, business, and all those things. Do you know how much your state lose? They lose about how many billion naira every Monday because there is no business, there is no transaction, people cannot pay. You see that there is coffee from 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. before things start moving, and I'm like, I'm not too much for this region. So it's high time you do better. Mazin and the Kalu is there. Some set of individuals are supporting him. Some set say they belong to the PIOV. Some people say they belong to the Biafran military waiting. Some people say they belong to someone. But there's always a confusion you get. If you people can actually sit together and actually follow one course to make sure that Mazin and the Kalu is being released, because I will always say this thing to people, and I always tell people that honestly, Mazin Kalu, he's a prophet in a way, not as if he sees vision or hears from God, but with the way that man is well exposed and well educated. The thing that he said, he warned us about when Tinubu was actually late President Muhammadu Buhari was coming into power. He said that this is what is going to display, and our lands and forests are no longer going to be safe. See, I hold that in dearly because my community, where I come from, they depend solely on farming, and people could not go to their farmland. People cannot even live in their villages because of Fulani herdsmen. And this Fulani herdsmen of a thing, it's no longer just Fulani people. A lot of people are actually going into this movement because they see a wolf money, sharp cash outs. They go kidnap people. They'll call your community, they will say Mona pay ransom, Mona do this. Before you know, they no go do. I think I did a video that was somewhere last month or so when Happy shared something on his platform, and he said that the Nigerian DSS was actually breached that this and so time this particular incident is going to happen in this particular locality in Benue State, which is that Yalawati killing that over 240 people were unalive, that the authority should do something about it, and the community were actually offer or summon a letter that they were going to come to attack. Some people actually, they were scared for their life and they fled with their family. Others that felt like it won't happen, and probably maybe the government is actually going to send people to our aid. Those people stay and then lose their life. Those people that went through that crisis, that survived it, if you see the injury in their body, and so there was a little baby that I saw, I was like, God, if it is not your time to die, see, no matter what you face, no matter what comes your way, you're going to overcome it over and over again. That is just the story of that child. And that baby's mother and father were unalive in the process when they came to attack in their home, in their compound, and they left that baby for death. But unfortunately for them, that child survived because rescue came about 10 hours later, you get. But somehow that child managed to survive. What will display in that child's head? Sometimes these people make videos of these things, and these things are online. That, see, they say the internet never forget. People will grow up to come and see these things, and what do you think they will have in their hearts towards those set of people called Fulani? Because these things, we are actually putting it on the head of Fulani, that oh, it's Fulani that are actually doing the killing. But some set of individuals are the locals, are the people that are even from those communities, are the ones showing this Fulani herdsmen or this set of bandits that are seeking for who to devour. That is why I always tell people that, see, the enemy is in our midst to destroy, and there is a blood-sucking demon that has been released in Nigeria to make sure that there is blood that is being wasted or spilled on a daily basis, to make sure that blood runs on their altar. And pray that you are not a victim. Pray that your families are not victim. And for those that feel like, oh, they have escaped the terror in Nigeria, they are no longer there. What about your family? What about your friends? What about your loved ones? You get, maybe you may not fall victims of those Fulani herdsmen, bandits, and so on and so forth. What of one chance? You get, what of people that are looking for who to do money ritual? There was a young man that, unlike a young boy of 6 years old, he put the boy's remain, which is his head, on a school bag, and unfortunately for him, fly were actually chasing him or perching him, and then somebody was like, what is in your bag? He was just passing up by the market, and then somebody, Nigerian, and they know the peer person face, they say, what is inside your bag? That flies are just gathering you. He say, oh, maybe something that he bought that pour in his bag. Just like that, they say, let them see, that must make us see what the bag will make fly, they follow you up and down. Then that was how they go. Then they beat him, then they hand him over to the authority, and I'm like, God, that child is just gone like that. Do you know the child? He said no. Where are you from? He's not even from that particular state. Imagine people could travel thousands of miles to just go to a particular community or to a particular state to carry out their evil deed. Sometimes you think that is the doing of those people. It's the devil that is pushing them to that particular locality or that particular location to make sure that blood is being spilled in that particular place, to make sure that assignments are being fulfilled. I did a particular prophecy on this particular channel. If I remember the particular video, I'll tag the link on the description below to tell you that these things, these people are seeing it. There is a prophecy when the man of God said that a blood-sucking demon is released in Nigeria, and it will make sure that bloods are being spilled on daily basis. You get, so whatever you do, you should pray to make sure that God goes before you and come back with you. Because if it is not God, if God should open our eyes to see things that are happening, or how these politicians go out to seek for power, and the kind of things they bring into this country, the kind of covenant that they make with the devil. Some of them go to the pit of hell, to these four corners of the earth, to make sure that they do everything to get power, to make sure that they sit in or in positions in Nigeria, to make sure that things happen. So when evil people are doing what they are doing, I don't like it. So I feel like we should think, we should act better in this country to make sure that this particular country is a better place for you and I to live.